good evening, and welcome to this episode of The Rigging Table on Up the Creek. I'm your host, Robert Barwick. Thanks for tuning in. I am constantly asked at the boat ramps, when boats pass me when I'm sitting on a spot or whatever, are you catching anything? How you doing it? Whatever. No one likes to tell everything, but I will share with you how I've been catching all these crappie for the last several months in large numbers. There's three ways to do it: pre-spawn, the spawn, and post-spawn. Pre-spawn, it's simple. I look for the deepest water closest to the bank in any creek or tributary or main body of a creek, or anywhere where there's current and current breaks, the deepest water closest to the bank. Anyway, steep drop-offs, lily pads, mostly lily pads and mats, mostly stay in 7 foot of water or less. Most lily pads will not grow over 7 foot of water. So you know that on the outside of them pads, if you mark 11, 12, 15, 20, 30 foot of water, and it comes up real steep, not long deserts, but any breaks or bends or oxbows, the deepest water closest to the bank. These fish will post up and get ready to spawn, and they're relatively easy to catch at this time. The simplest way is I fish with mono. I don't fish with braid because they can see the braid. I don't want them seeing nothing. I've said that before many times. I simply take a slide through cork, and this one's got plenty of battle scars on it. It's seen a lot of action. And I run that to my main line. Not the corks with the splits in them, the solid corks that you can run with the black stopper on the top. Run your line through. I simply put a nice heavy split shot. Squeeze it down with your pliers, or old school with your teeth like we do, or did back in them days. And I take a simple gold Arbidine brim hook, a very small one, and I tie that on with a cinch knot. Run the line through the eye, hold it with the tag, twist it 6 or 7 times, put it back through the eye, wet it, pull, clip close. You don't want any tag hanging off that. It's got to be uniform and close. Live minnows. No Christmas ornaments or jig heads or feathers or any of that mess. Simple brim hook. Hook a minnow that you buy, your Missouri minnows, your commercial minnows that you buy at your local bait and tackle shop. Hook them up, through and out to where they ride uniform. That works real well. I also use a bobber stopper, like the kinds you use for punching mats and bass fishing or whatever. You can buy them anywhere. The little black ones that you tie on and slide through onto your line. That is a great way to catch a lot of crappie. Very simple brim fishing rig, but for crappie. The second way is during the spawn, I simply take no weight, no nothing, a nice long crappie rod, 10, 11, 14 foot, whatever, and tie a small jig head on, such as this. No weight above it, nothing. I carry a potato rake in the boat. When these fish are on the spawn, they move up into that shallow water, 3 foot or less, and they get up underneath the mats, the lily pads, and they make the males fan out of bed, and the females come in during the full moon, and they lay their eggs. They're also very vulnerable and easy to catch then. With that same jig head, I put a minnow through, and I drop it, and I hold it vertical in these spots, and I'm spot checking everywhere. When you feel that thump, doom, lift up easy. Don't snatch, don't do whatever. They got paper mouths, they come apart. Lift them up nice and easy, right into the boat, you're done. Post spawn, I go back to the simple rig that I tied with the cork and a live minnow and a straight Arbidine brim hook. Post spawn. All they did was move back off onto that ledge. They didn't move 30 feet. They're back on that ledge. Wonderful. You'll tear them up again for another month or so. Now, summer sets in, late spring, post spawn. They'll start moving back into their summer patterns, i.e. heading to deeper water, 15 or more, where they can be caught all summer long. But then you got to do something a little different. I take no float, no cork. I take a 1/2 ounce egg sinker like you would use for bottom fishing anywhere. Simply take your tag line, run it through that 1/2 ounce sinker once, twice, 3 times. Before you cinch down, pull it through 3 more times. Leave yourself a good long 1.5 to 2 foot tag. That's it. A simple 1/2 ounce weight. Now you're using that same crappie rod and you have to go find these fish, and they'll be on the drop-offs or the oxbows or anywhere where there's a temperature break or a current break or an eddy. You will put 2 or 3 of these out, whatever's convenient for you. I use 4. I'll run like spider rigging. I'll run 4 out in front of the boat. I only fish with the length of line out of the rod. If I've got a 12-foot rod, I got 12 foot of line out. 2 foot above that, I have this egg sinker. I'll take a simple jig head and tie that on to the end of my tag. Now you've got the egg sinker and the jig head. This is the great part. Real simple. Many companies make these little molded plastic minnows, multiple colors. Tubes work real well. Anyway, I like these. I'm not endorsed by them or I'm not paid by them, but they're called Panfish Assassin. And they make multiple colors too, but this one particular one that is called Teeny Shad is simply, I like that straight little tail. And I put that on that jig head. And I use my trolling motor with 4 down, out, the length of the rod. Rod tip only about a foot above the water. You've seen it. This is how it's done. And troll these around with your trolling motor slowly. Sometimes you don't even have to use the trolling motor. Most of the estuaries in Northeast Florida are tidal. You can use a trolling motor just to keep the boat straight. Tide will do the rest, and you're moving with the tide. Boom, you'll see one of them rods bend down. As soon as you see that first one go, stop, swing around and do it again. Stay in that area. They're there for a reason. There's a particular reason that they're in that area. You catch one and you just keep on going. You may not get a bite for a while, but if you find one, stop, come back. These are some basic things that I do. There's a lot of different little colors for the post-spawn summer pattern crappie fishing. A lot of these have these tails. Really good stuff. There's multiple colors. I wouldn't get crazy. I think the craziest one I use is called Electric Chicken. And that's when I can't get a bite at all. Going to the extreme. Most of the natural colors of the forage or the bait fish in your area, and you know what they are. Slow trolling all through the summer, post-season, pays off really well. I'm Robert Barwick, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Rigging Table on Up the Creek.